Today we're going to look at the sine rule. The sine rule is one of the easiest rules in mathematics to use. It's just a matter of working with equations which have two fractions. If we have an equation with three angles and three sides as I've named here, then we can equate the sine of an angle with the side opposite the angle. You notice this angle matches up with that side. This angle here matches up with that side, and this angle matches up with that side. The sine rule says this side, x, have the sine of the angle opposite, and notice you take the sine of an angle. One of the mistakes that some students make is they take the sine of a side. You can't take the sine of a side, you can only take the sine of an angle. So we've got x this side over the sine of the angle opposite, 83, equals y this side over the sine of the angle opposite, and if we had that was alpha, we can work that out to be 67, equals 70, this side over the sine of the angle opposite, and these are the two that we know. Equating this equation, or this side with that one, we just take the sine 83 over with the 70, and we've got x equals 70 sine 83 divided by sine 30. If you do that on your calculator, you get that answer, and you can check it. The same here, we take the sine 67 over with the 70, so we have y of 70 sine 67 over sine 30, and our calculator gives us the answer, 128.9. I can assure you these problems have been made very simple since the advent of calculators, which was well before your time, but prior to that they were quite difficult problems to solve. The second type of the sine rule is when we have two sides. Over here we had two angles, but here we've got two sides. We're either going to have two sides and one angle, or two angles and one side. Type 1, we have two angles in one side, we find the remaining angle first. We've got two sides and one angle, we find a second angle first. So in both cases, the first step is to find an angle. In this particular case, the one that matches up is the 51 with the 63. So we have sine 51 over 63, and this is the other side we know, equals sine alpha over 80. When we do the multiplication, we have sine alpha equals 80 sine 51 over 63. You calculate this event, and then you have to get rid of the sign. You press your shift button, shift sign that value, and it gives you 80.59 or so forth, which then you press the degrees, minutes and second button, you end up with alpha is 80 degrees 42 minutes. Once you know alpha, you add the angles up, take away from 180 degrees, you got the angle beta. Once you know beta, you just find the remaining side, the same as you did in the first question. Learning the sine rule is easy, as in every course up until the HSC. The general students do it, the Extension 2 students do it. It's easy, no one has a problem with it, neither will you. I'm Robert Ollis from Master Coaching.